Welcome back to Finn vs. History. As ever, I'm here with Horatio Gould.
Left on America!
And buckle up, fuckheads. Today's one for people with strong stomachs.
Yep.
Today we are doing the Islamic Revolution.
Hello, Akbar from the Finn vs. History team. We're getting straight into it.
That's what that means, isn't it? Hello, Akbar. Hello, Akbar. How you doing? You're right. They say that 5 times a day.
Yeah, I was in a green room with Ishan. That's how I treat him.
Hello, Akbar. You're
Hello,
right.
Akbar.
I doubt this one's going to be very haram.
No, I'm sure it won't be.
Islamic Revolution is up there for me. Top 10 history.
It's good stuff.
It's good stuff. It's the 20th century.
Yeah.
It's an area of huge religious sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
I am like a pig in shit.
Yeah. Iranian Revolution, not Islamic Revolution. Just...
No, it's because there's so many revolutions in Iran. It's called the Islamic Revolution.
Oh, of course, fine.
So I'm a pig in shit.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, a halal version of that. I'm a cow in shit.
Yeah.
I'm a shitty cow having a lovely time. I'm a big cow who's done a big pat and then it's just dropped and rolled in it like a dog.
Well, don't you feel this is kind of the key turning point in the Middle East, arguably, right? Or like our modern understanding of the Middle East. This was kind of like what sets it all off.
This is
1979.
year zero for the current Middle East, basically.
But don't you feel in the popular imagination, it's that people don't really seem to know much about it? Like, because we all grow up with Iraq, Afghanistan, 9/11, Saddam Hussein. That's what everyone knows.
Yeah.
Israel, Palestine. Now everyone is really up to date with that.
Yeah.
But I feel the Iranian Revolution's kind of confusing because we haven't gone and invaded Iran actively. So it's hard for people who are like, people like Charlie who are like kind of don't really understand what's going on in the Middle East.
Yes.
What do you think about Iran, Charlie?
I think that they're quite upset about something.
Yeah.
Well, okay, maybe you do know more than I.
I'd say the Ayatollah is a big grumpykins. Get a picture of the Ayatollah, right?
Yeah.
Ayatollah Khomeini. I'd say, in the spirit of renaming things to make it easier for people to listen, we call him Dr. Grumpykins because he's one of the grumpiest people I've ever seen.
Well, your girlfriend, you'll go on a double date that your girlfriend's organised, right? And if the boyfriend's the Ayatollah, you're fucked.
You're completely fucked. You're
there's
like,
not
God.
If I was sitting across from the Ayatollah at a double date.
Yeah.
The girls go off to the bathroom together and I'm stuck with the Ayatollah.
Oh my God.
What are
Absolute
we talking about?
Nightmare.
Do you watch football? That's haram. Fucking hell.
You're going bowling with this guy. And he's like, I don't want to.
I mean, I don't know what I would talk about. Like, I guess I asked him how he'd got there, like what trains he'd taken. But even that, I think he doesn't find interest in that.
Ayatollah Khomeini, Dr. Grumpykins is...
Looks kind of like Sean Connery.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh my God.
I think that there's a possible conspiracy theory that we could start that, how Sean Connery did Never Say Never Again, the Bond film that was not licensed.
Yeah.
I think maybe he used the money from that to fund the revolution in Iran and then become Dr. Grumpykins and take over Iran.
Well, I mean, it's a great like Bond-esque. Well, it was more Mission Impossible-esque plot with him being a Scottish film star in the West and then flying over, beard, hat, being an Ayatollah.
Because also what I would say is that of all the Bonds, Connery is the most Ayatollah-y in terms of vibe.
What is it in that he hits women?
He hits women. Roger Moore's like the Shah of Iran. He's basically a gay,
good time guy.
He's a good time guy, but he wants a big party. No, I guess, do you know what? I take that back. The Ayatollah is basically Dalton with Connery's beard.
Right.
It's essentially, this is like The Rock Connery. Well, let's go home and fuck the prom queen.
But if you're talking Islamic despots as football pundits, this is Graham Souness, right? This is Roy Keane.
Roy Keane, Graham Souness.
But Roy Keane's got a charm to him that Graham Souness... Graham Souness is Roy Keane without the charm.
Hunt for Red October. Oh, hello. What's that one?
Has no one pointed out that Sean Connery looks
like the
almost
Ayatollah.
exactly like
Ayatollah Khomeini. Yeah, if the Ayatollah... Do you know what it is like? You know those TikTok videos where a barber will get a homeless guy?
Yeah.
I'll give him a haircut. If a barber got Ayatollah Khomeini, gave him a haircut, then he would look like Sean Connery.
Yeah, this guy hates a laugh, doesn't he? He absolutely...
Dr. Grumpykins.
Yeah,
Dr. Grumpykins hates a good time. And this is why this revolution is so funny, is because essentially what happens is that a bunch of communists get punked.
Yeah.
And they go, great, we're going to overthrow... And then it's like, who have we got? Oh, we're having the worst time imaginable.
Yeah,
we've absolutely fucked it.
It's prime Ronaldo doing stepovers. They go one way, he goes the other.
This is David Dunn stepover. You've seen David Dunn stepover? This is David Dunn playing for Blackburn in, I want to say, 2004, 2005.
Right. So explain who represents who in this meme.
So David Dunn is a footballer.
Who does he represent?
He represents the communists,
Right.
the people of Iran,
Yeah.
who are thinking, brilliant, we're going to overthrow the Shah.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean we're going to beat this defender.
Yeah, yeah. Oh.
So he's beat one. Yeah, he's got rid of the Shah. Here we go. Oh, he's fallen over. He's completely fucked it.
And
He's
there we go.
completely
Islamic
fucked it.
fundamentalism's got the ball. It's on the rage.
He's on the rage. Islamic fundamentalism. They're through on goal. Oh my word. Women. No. Oh well. I mean, they fucked it. They've just completely fucked it. But that's my point. Is that they were so close to pulling off a sort of a brilliant revolution, and they've just completely fucked it and ended up with a homeless Sean Connery. AKA Dr. Grumpykins. So
to be fair, a lot of the time there are some there's some mirth control gigs you do where it's a whole room of Ayatollah Khomeinis. Do you know what I mean?
I've had a few Ayatollahs in the front row. I'll tell you that, definitely.
You come out and there's about 200 Ayatollahs just.
But what is so funny because this revolution is on. It's completely televised. It's his face. There's big pictures of his face.
Yeah,
and it's like the Che Guevara image. He's staring. He's kind of handsome. It's so iconic. This guy is just fucking livid and bored. People are holding up. People are living up. Yeah, he's our great hope. Just the angriest Dr. Grumpykins.
Yeah, as a face though, it's good for don't litter. If you're doing signs, it's a good way of getting public things. Don't harass train staff.
We should actually have, rather than see it, say it, sort it. We should just have his face on the tube. Sexual harassment's a crime. He would get stuff done. So. Yeah. Or actually, just under speed signs.
Yeah.
Just have his face. People wouldn't speed. So this is the start of an epic series because as I said, I'm a big old cow rolling in my own shit. In this, this could be. I don't know how many episodes it's going to be. When we started this podcast, we were talking about things we could do, and you went, "Yeah, we could do a 20-part series on the country of Iran," because you're really into old Iran, Persia, Prince of Persia. I imagine you played that, and that's where it all kicked off.
I didn't actually. I missed that.
No, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Medal of Honor guy.
Yeah, I thought so. GoldenEye.
GoldenEye. Yeah. God, don't get me onto Gold. History of GoldenEye will be a Patreon special at some point. No, we're going to go through all N64 games.
I think they'll spill out onto the main.
Do you know that on my stag do, my best mate, the what we did on the challenge was that I didn't know about this, was that everyone had brought secret N64 GoldenEye costumes. They all dressed up as an N64 GoldenEye character. I had to wear the Goldfinger woman in a gold a gold onesie with a wig, and then it was winner stays on, one shot kills in temple. Whoever loses has to do a shot of vodka.
Right.
They were trying to get, and I had to play everyone once, so they were trying to get me fucked. But I beat everyone twice in one go. Stayed on. Everyone else got drunk. I remained completely sober. I was just annihilating them all on GoldenEye.
On your stag, you were just.
I was getting more sober because I just could not stop dominating them on GoldenEye.
You were just fighting off people. Just
no, it's because John Kearns was just in a corner stimming, doesn't know, couldn't see it working into his full control, and I went behind him and bang.
And they're getting drunker and drunker.
They're getting drunker and drunker, having a great time.
And you're a cold assassin.
Miserably assassinating all of them.
You're a little Ayatollah on your stag do, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. I want to drink.
So how should we start this? I mean, okay, we're not going to go through the entire history of Iran, but basically it's Persia. It's a 2,500-year-old consistent state, which is a very rare thing. Only really maybe China and Egypt can compare with sort of.
Before you just go off on one, right? We've got to say the Islamic Revolution, which is what the main thrust of this series is. That's 1979.
Yeah.
So to place this in context for the dummies listening, this is after the invention of the NHS. Mm-hmm. The NHS is around. It is before Harold Shipman's got going.
Right.
So there is.
But Shipman is alive.
Shipman's alive.
Very much so. He's quite old.
You would say he's the NHS's Ayatollah. He's got a similar vibe.
Yeah.
He's actually Dr. Grumpykins.
He's actually got a doctorate.
He's got a doctorate. Yeah. The Ayatollah hasn't got a doctor. But he is. I'm calling him Dr. Grumpykins.
He's an honorary doctor.
He's an honorary Dr. Grumpykins.
He's going to a university. He's never. He's been given a scroll.
No, he's done it online.
In 1979,
is Shipman murdering his?
I think he might be finding his range.
He's in the nets. Shipman's in the nets. I'm not sure he's playing.
Yeah, he's finding his length.
He's not done his ball of the century yet.
No. It's not prime Shipman.
No, he's not got his.
I do think,
He's still working on his googly, I think.
I think he's trying to kill people, and it's like, all right, so that didn't work.
He's accidentally making them better.
I think you might have really cushioned it pretty
Okay, well then
Pretty fine to the line there.
In that sense, but that's still placing it in
1975.
Fuck. Say fuck.
Fuck.
It's after.
I fucked it. Okay, so it's before Shipman's
First
brought
victim.
to justice.
Yes, yeah.
Shipman is working away. Well, it's comforting to know actually what's going on in the UK. Is that our own Ayatollah, our own Dr. Grumpykins is wreaking havoc with old people.
Yeah.
So that's where we are in the world. Late 20th century. My absolute perfect.
Yeah.
I'm a mucky old cow, me. Carry on. Persia, the country of Iran, also known as Persia.
And it's gone through so many different kind of variations. It's been taken over by so many different empires. But basically, in the 1800s, at the period where the Brits are at their pomp, basically, Persia is a shadow of its former self. It's in a key place geographically. You know, it's the Middle East way into India, but this kind of Central Asian place is being fought over by Russia and Britain for basically the whole of the 1800s. We will do an episode on the Great Game. It's actually very interesting.
But Britain are trying to basically...
It's basically a game of Risk. That's why it's called the Great Game.
Which is the greatest board game ever invented.
Which is the Russians are trying to expand their empire down into the Stans, all the way, Afghanistan, Persia, and the Brits from India are trying to also control that central area as well.
Because they want a buffer between Russia and India, basically. Because
and it's just constantly shifting.
Constant anxiety between Russia getting into India, which I think maybe is part of the reason the Crimean War kicks off in the 1850s. But I suppose where we should pick up this narrative, I guess, is the pomp of foreign interference in Iran, which is the early 20th century, late 19th century.
They're kind of being kicked around like a football by the European
It's tiki-taka between Russia and Britain. It's just passing drills.
Well, it's more end-to-end. You know, it's two counter-attacking teams. It's just, there's no defence. It's just fucking hoofing.
You know in like school where your goalies can kick it the furthest and they just kick it to the other goalie.
That's what's happening with Persia. Just, you know.
And the Iranians are the teams and they're just watching their country just go back and forth. Oh, we quite like a play at one point.
But I guess we could start at so many different points. We'll probably start it with Darcy. Right.
So Darcy is a prospector,
yes,
isn't he? And is he British?
This is actually arguably the begin. Yeah, this could also be a point of the beginning of the West modern relationship with the Middle East.
The concession was signed in 1901 between the then Shah of Persia, Mosaffar al-Din, I want to say, and this oil concession. So Darcy's a prospector,
but oil's in its infancy at this point.
Yeah. So currently, the British Navy runs on coal.
Yeah.
For example, but the age of coal is coming to an end.
Yeah.
So I think basically just before the First World War, Britain's Navy changes from coal to using oil. And therefore needs a fuck ton of oil quickly.
And I think there's whisperings amongst Persians that there's there's some sort of
very good price. Yes, please.
Like
look at this
black thick liquid under the surface or something, and he sniffs out. He's basically Daniel Plainview from There'll Be Blood.
He's a drink your milkshake.
It's this psychotic capitalist prospector who is looking all over the country, and basically because they're putting the money up, they're putting loads of money into this. It's really hard to find oil.
He's a chubby chubby there.
He's a greedy little truffle pig, but an oil pig.
There will be pudding.
Yeah.
I've abandoned my donuts. That's what he says.
But I think for years,
I drink your milkshake.
For years, they're looking for oil, and it's a horrible, painful experience. Money is just getting poured down the drain. He's starting to have a lot of self-doubt. It looks like it's disaster. And then apparently,
it's comfort eating.
On pretty much the last day before they leave, they hit gold and they strike oil. And the relationship with the Middle East entirely changes, because I believe this is the first time oil is found in the Middle East by the West.
Yes, and I guess by the West, I think, because I think the Saudis are also
at this point.
I don't know, but I know that quite soon they become the two major oil powers, Saudi and Iran.
And this is what's then in lieu of this. Darcy sets up the Anglo-Persian Oil Company, which is now BP,
which I love. I just love the echoes of history. I love stopping at a service station and it's BP, and I fill up and I go, oh, this is why you can't see a woman's tits in Iran. Do you know what I mean? That's why I always use Shell, actually, as a protest. I'm a shell man because I can't buy that I can't see a women's tits in Iran. I find that I think that's a liberal. So
the deal that Darcy signs, the deal.
That's my problem with the fossil fuel company. I mean, me and Greta are...
Well, you call them fossil fumes because you're because you're so misogynistic.
Yes, exactly. But me and Greta...
That's like what you comment underneath OnlyFans models' pictures is like, I can smell the fossil fumes from here.
Your pum-pum's like a petrol pump. There's Kane Brown's line. He's in there's a clip of Kane Brown.
Right.
Great. I mean, his podcast is one of the funniest podcasts.
Shout out Kane Brown.
Out. What's his podcast called? 18, I think. There's a clip of him from I don't know when he's doing crowd work at the Frog and Bucket, and he goes, "I can smell your pum pum from here. It smells like a petrol pump." That's that, and they're loving it. And it's like, as a black comic, you can just say stuff that white comics you just can't. If I went to a woman,
I think our whole career is carefully trying to construct jokes to try and be half as funny
as a black comic.
Yeah.
If you went up to a woman in the front row and went, I can smell your pussy from here, it smells like a petrol pump, you would be booed off stage immediately. Because you have an oil perspective from the 20th century's vibe.
I have this whole bit that I worked on for ages.
You then try and drill her pussy for oil.
Stephen Hawkins cheating on his wife.
Yes.
And I just wish someone like Cat Williams did it.
Yeah.
Because it would just be so it's so much easier. It doesn't have to be this kind of like, he's reversing in that shit. Like,
yeah. Well, if you're doing it like that, I guess that is weird.
Not me.
Oh, right.
That's why I wish,
Anyway, so BP is...
And they do the classic move where they sign an outrageous deal because no one knows what oil is. He's found it. And they're like, right,
what is this liquid carpet?
We're going to take like 90%. You can have like 5%. He's like, okay, I don't really know what...
What is this? So he probably bakes himself a cake because he's found oil. Treats himself
fat.
to 30. He's a big old fat guy, this guy. Anyway, so they find oil. They create the Anglo-Persian Oil Company, which is now BP, which me and Greta don't rarely align on things, but we both don't like BP for different reasons. Anyway, so at this point, it's the Anglo-Persian Oil Company, and it's called the Concession, which is a large part of the southwest of Iran, I believe, which is essentially run by BP, and there's this place called Abidan, I think, which is this huge, almost like an entire city that's an oil refinery, oil processing plant, and this very quickly becomes the fuel for the British army and empire. So this is pretty quickly becomes critical British infrastructure is the southwest of Iran.
You got to have it.
You got to have
World War One, like oil fields become a huge part of kind of how that war turns out.
Yes,
that control, making sure you got your resources on lock.
And like you say, Britain are taking a large part of the revenues. The Iranians may be getting like a tip.
Yeah, I think so.
But also the Iranians don't know, because at this point the Iranian it's a very backward country, and they don't really have any kind of technological system. They don't really have education.
It's a very traditional country as well.
Traditional
it's got
country.
A long history.
You could bring up the fucking Persians, but it's so World War I happens. The oil industry starts to dominate,
right?
And we then need to bring in the character of Reza Shah Pahlavi.
Right.
Am I saying that right?
I don't know. I'm terrible with names.
You look like you speak Persian.
No.
Reza Shah Pahlavi.
No, I speak Elvish.
Of course, right. Elvish Persian. So he's a military officer in the Qajar army. Now the Qajar dynasty is the last, or it's a dynasty
runs from the 1700s till 905.
There's a picture of a Qajar woman, and it's like, have you seen this meme that goes around? Some of the Instagram fans.
No.
She's like the ugliest woman of all time, right? But like the caption is in Iran, this woman was so beautiful that many people killed themselves.
Oh really? Is that okay?
And I don't know if that's because Qajar princess,
because Iranians are famously very beautiful women.
Yes,
these days.
Yeah. Well, I'd say they're a country of extremes. I'd say the fittest Iranian woman is fitter than most other women.
Yeah.
The ugliest Iranian woman
is pushing it.
New levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hair.
A lot of
body
Either
hair.
way, they should be covered up, I think. This is the picture I've seen. So this is the great princess, the great beauty. This is Helen of Troy.
Well, that looks like the fat kid from Modern Family.
Yeah. This is Helen of Tehran. the face that launched 1,000 ships to sink.
To go home.
Turn around and go home. Yeah, I see this on my Instagram a lot. I see this woman and there's a caption of like the Qajar, the most beautiful princess in all. There's a bit of Emperor's New Clothes going on.
I think that's clearly a bloke.
I think that's a walrus. Anyway, so this is the Qajar dynasty. I think the legs. There's so much leg on show. You can see why the Ayatollah is coming from in some regard.
What, to say like we've got to
stop this. This is ridiculous. Oh, I'm getting too horny. So that's the end of the Qajar dynasty, which is they're still part of the Persian kings, right? The Qajar dynasty, and then in the early 1920s, I think there's a constitutional revolution
in 1905
or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, it ended in 1911. There's a constitutional revolution where basically it's kind of a modernizing revolution for this quite backward country, to kind of actually very much based on the British constitutional model of I think you have a monarch, but there's a prime minister and there's a parliament. So loads of just like kind of quite Western.
Well, this is demanded, but it's not really implemented that much, I don't think, because in the 20s you have a guy called Reza Khan.
Right. He sounds like he makes great music.
Reza Khan sounds like it's in an Uber.
Yeah.
And you're hungover and it's the last thing you want. There's nothing worse than being in the front seat of an Uber to an airport.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, can you tell that I just come back from a big weekend in Hamburg, and the worst bit of it was the journey, the Uber back. God,
when they're playing their own music.
When they're playing their own music. You know, the thought of a curry's making you sick, and then you've got Indian restaurant music, Persian restaurant music. Anyway, so
you know how like when you hear like a waterfall, you need to piss.
Yeah.
When you hear Indian music, you need to shit.
I need to shit. Yeah, so there's the Qajars, they're quite autocratic, and then there's all this foreign influence. People are getting a bit annoyed, so they demand this revolution. There's a supposed revolution of giving the people some rights.
Prime Minister, Parliament,
blah blah blah. But it doesn't really happen.
Yeah.
Then you've got this big guy, Reza Khan,
right?
Strong man,
military officer in the Qajar army,
big fucker.
Yeah,
big guy, broad chested.
Yeah.
If he's the dad of your new girlfriend, you open the door, you think, fuck. If, you know...
Your new girlfriend's the Qajar...
your new girlfriend is the most beautiful / ugly.
You've been told the most beautiful woman. And
yeah. And I mean...
And now you can't leave her because her dad's...
Because her dad's... You're completely cornered. Yeah. Yeah, look at him. Gorgeous man.
Yeah.
Somehow he's given birth to the ugliest woman in the world. So... He is kind of a military man. He's a military officer in the Qajar army. And in 1921, he starts a coup against the Qajars. And look, you can see it's all very kind of French, British inspired art military dress. So basically, in the mid 1920s, Reza Khan becomes the Shah. Yep. He starts a new dynasty.
Yeah.
And he starts the Pahlavi dynasty.
Right.
Pavlova dynasty.
But he's done that by... Yeah, a military coup, basically.
Yeah, it's a military coup.
Yeah.
He's a military man.
Yeah.
Broad-chested.
Yeah.
Beautiful moustache.
Yeah.
Ugly hot daughters, the best you could say, probably. Yeah. And he starts this sort of this is the beginning of rapid modernization.
Yeah.
Which is sort of the theme of the next 50 years of Iranian history.
It's true, and this is at the time in Turkey, Ataturk's doing something similar, where there's a big modernizing secular movement.
Ataturk is going, we're not going to be an Islamic
it's
state.
Secular
we're going to be
movement.
secular.
Yeah, the Young Turks, all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, who are the Young Turks?
I don't know too much, but I imagine they're around this time, and I can assume that they're a great modernizing young people who are trying to modernize in a secular way.
Yeah. So this is where basically infrastructure starts. Industrialization starts to take some power away from the tribal and clerical authorities, because most of Iran is not Tehran. Yeah. Most of Iran is quite a religious, conservative. It's a bit like, London and the rest of the UK.
Yes,
Londonistan. I mean, for an American Republican podcast, it is literally the same.
Yeah, you get arrested for being white in London. It's crazy.
Londonistan.
Because it's like, I went there and they've lynched Paddington Bear.
Yeah,
they've crazy.
Lynched him. Yep, his head was on fire. This is not a un-Jordan Peterson-esque suit.
No,
actually.
it's not. We're in the last remaining. This is the last remaining white room in London, according to Tucker
Yeah,
Carlson.
you're according to Tucker Carlson. Yeah. Paddington Bear is on fire, and Buckingham Palace. Hordes of women lynching Paddington Bear.
Yeah, I used to love London.
I used to love it.
And now it really smells.
And it smells. Mr. Brown's now working in a curry house.
Mr. Bean is a slave.
Mr. Bean's a slave.
In the Ayatollah's basement, the Ayatollah of London, Sadiq Khan.
And Mr. Bean can carry food. Famously, he turns up to give the Ayatollah food. He's got a turkey on his head, and the whole thing collapses. It's a travesty. Anyway, so Reza Shah in the 20s, he really starts rapid modernization. He also, now this is interesting, he forces it top down on the sort of backward.
He's a top.
He's a power top. I mean, you're always a power top, aren't you?
Yeah.
I guess you can be a power bottom.
You could probably be a submissive top.
Now, how's that work?
Well, if you've got a power bottom, is it?
Sorry, we should just say for people who aren't quite as on top of gay terminology,
who have found a podcast they like.
Yes, we're talking about gay sexual logistics.
A power bottom, I believe, Finn, I would have no idea.
Yeah, of course.
Is someone who takes it in a very powerful way.
Corners the top.
Yeah. Because I guess
shuffles back onto it, and then is sort of thrusting.
I guess as a position, being a bottom is. Well, here we go. What's the difference between a power bottom and a top? A dominant bottom or power bottom, as they're more commonly referred to, is someone who takes over sex, who rides, instructs, or otherwise steers the action.
Yeah.
A submissive top is someone who does as they are told, even though they are the penetrating partner. So yeah, it's you better fuck me in the ass right now. You cock in my ass now.
Right.
Yes, misters. Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Of course. Yeah. So.
But he's a power top. He's not a submissive top.
Ayatollah Khomeini's a power. He's a power bottom. Cover up. Fuck me in the ass. Reza Shah he's a power top. Though. Yeah. So he's top down. He bans the veil.
Right.
So it's like France in the early 2000s banned the burkini, all that stuff.
Yeah.
He doesn't give women a choice, which is famously what feminism's meant to be about.
Right.
He says you can cover up, you can get your tits out. I don't mind. I have a preference. It's up to you, though. That's feminism. In my understanding of feminism.
Yeah. But he's like, tits out now.
He's like, tits out now. I'm a power top.
But what is a theme throughout all of these is that you do besmirch your opponent by implying they're gay all the time.
We'll get to that later in the story, but there's a very funny moment where basically the revolution starts because someone calls the Ayatollah gay. Anyway, we'll get to that. That's fast forwarding a bit. So, Reza Shah, power top, you fuck me in the arse now.
Yeah.
No, it's power bottom. Anyway, I'm getting confused in more ways than one.
Let's go.
So he bans the veil, which is actually a huge move, given that it's all people have known, and he doesn't give people the choice. It's like when they banned the grid girls, Formula One.
Yeah.
It's like, well, hang on, they like their job.
Can we have a referendum on this?
Yeah. Are we not going to at least ask the people at the darts what they think about this? You come to the grid girls, the darts will be next. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You cared about female unemployment was the main concern you had.
Like, why are we taking away women's jobs? It's like if you shut down OnlyFans, you're going, well, these women are too thick to earn a job without getting their tits out. Like, give them a chance. This is the safety net for people who failed their GCSEs. I just like seeing women in full-time employment.
Be them nude or not.
Be they OnlyFans or grid girls.
I just like to see a woman working.
Yeah. And by watching a woman work, I mean watching her work on OnlyFans as a cam girl. Those are the three jobs: cam girl, OnlyFans, grid girl. Anyway, so Reza Shah bans the veil and basically starts this sort of rapid attempt at westernization in Iran, which the majority of the people aren't maybe ready for. The people have been starting to feel quite resentful of the amount of money that was being taken out of Iran. At this point, they may be cottoning on that black stuff under the ground is quite valuable.
Yeah, but it's also like, when you do when you've been gigging in London too long and then you gig out in the sticks.
And you got a bit about Oyster cards.
Yeah. Sort of, but it's just like your references about so my friend's in a polycule and you got this kind of it's literally like,
Huh?
He can't even comprehend what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What? All of these applied assumptions that you have in London.
They don't.
It hasn't even hit.
No. You're gigging
Great
in
Yarmouth.
You're gigging in Yarmouth. They go, "What the fuck's a polycule? Polycule? Is that a Pokemon? What's a polycule?" In 1935, Reza Shah officially changes the country's name from Persia to Iran. Which kind of, I guess maybe some people don't like that.
Well, it says, change the country name for Persia to Iran, signaling a new national identity and emphasising Persian heritage. Yeah, we did a great job of that by changing the name from Persia to Iran.
Yeah, I would have said there's probably a better way to do it. Just keep it as Persia.
I've listened to a podcast about Iran, and basically, I think in the West, the view of it is, Persia was this exoticized kind of amazing kind of place of the, Arabian Nights almost kind of, and Iran is the Ayatollah, Mr. Grumpy Kings, firing AKs in
Dr. Grumpy Kings.
Dr. Grumpy Kings to you.
Give him his full title.
Firing AKs in the sky. But actually, amongst Iranians, Iran and Persia have always been interchangeable. So Iran is also also an ancient name. So they both kind of work.
They use both.
Yeah. It's not like one where it's like the fun's over now. Get rid of those rugs. Put a veil on Iran.
Derry, Londonderry.
Yeah.
I in fact, it's almost definitely not that.
Englandderry, I think.
Sorry, it's Englandderry, isn't it? So then in the 30s, Reza Shah aligns with the Western powers. This is my favourite bit.
Yeah.
Especially Nazi Germany.
Uh-oh.
So now this is debated, basically.
Right.
But what is for sure is that the Nazi Germans, to give them their proper name,
the naughty Germans.
The naughty Germans.
It's very similar. Nazi naughty. Isn't it?
Nazi is German for naughty. We're the naughty party. Vote for us. We're doing some very naughty things. So the naughty Germans, they build prisons that Reza Shah starts to use to
just as like building infrastructure as a way of building relationships.
The Germans are at this point, German infrastructure's never been so efficient.
Right.
The 30s.
Okay.
Famously.
Yeah.
I mean, I've just been to Hamburg. What they are very good at is processing people, and and they in this period of their history they take it too far.
Right. They just, Well, you're saying it's their love of processing and admin that leads to.
Yes, I do. I do think it's impossible to have the Holocaust without people that love processing queues. British people
Next.
love
Name.
Yeah. Name.
Religion. That queue.
Yeah. It's passport control.
Next.
It's passport control. EU, non-EU, Jew. Oh,
now you got the passport things where you just put it in and it.
Yeah.
And it just does it automatically. They would have absolutely loved
Christ,
that.
I think they would have a field day
with
nowadays.
the phrenology as well. It just maps
with
out.
passport technology.
But on there, they'll just maps how big your nose and skull is.
How big's your nose, right? No. Go and talk to someone. Do not pass go. Go straight to Auschwitz. German monopoly. Oh, I don't want to play as the Jew. Can I play as the little Scotty dog? No. You're playing as the Jew. It's a very different board for you.
So what, it builds prisons that Reza Shah uses?
Well, actually, he built prisons that, to skip ahead, Mohammed Reza Shah, when he starts the secret police, they keep people in Nazi-built prisons.
And when you were in Hamburg, were you in a Nazi-built...
We did go into a Nazi anti-aircraft tower that's now a techno club.
That's modern Germany, isn't it?
That is my just favourite thing to do.
Well, in the way that you have, I mean, this is a history podcast, of course. A lot of what we love is the contrast between, the current day and the past. You have a Greek man asleep in a chair underneath the statue of David or whatever, and the German version of that is you have a Pearson-laden techno German in leather, dwarfed by an industrial structure built by Hitler.
Yeah, with a rubber fist in his arse. I mean, it's just the irony of history, the beauty of it. Hitler's building this. Think if he knew what's going on in there.
1,000-year Reich. Try fight 5 years.
Barely 10, mate. And if you knew what's going on in here in 80 years' time, you'd be shooting your brains out all over again. That's why he found out. He goes, they were going to turn this into a techno club. When the Russians come in, he goes, fucking blow. That's what he said. Anyway, where are we? So it's starting to get juicy now because Iran plays this huge role in World War II strategically, because at the start of World War II, no one ever really thinks about this because we're taught about the Battle of Britain and the Blitzkrieg, but we're not talking about how basically the Italians are going for Egypt. Mussolini wants to conquer, Africa, to take all the ancient ruins. Hitler's getting involved as well. There's the whole Indiana Jones stuff. They dig at naughty archaeologists. Every area of science is getting quite naughty at this point. So it's a whole sprint to the Middle East, Turkey, Cyprus, Greece. These are the real flashpoints of the start of the Second World War. And when the Russians are allied, when the German invades the Russians, basically Iran becomes this we cannot let the Germans get to Iran. And they have a history of building some naughty prisons there. So what the Allies do is they kind of propaganda. They say Reza Shah, this great modernizer, he's in bed with Hitler. He's power bottom. He's power bottoming Hitler. So they basically just fucking invade. There's the Allies and Churchill and the Soviets just fucking invade Iran in 1941. And it's so funny because what happens is these tanks just come out of the desert, and the Iranians are like, oh, hello, we're mates, aren't we? And they're like, nope. And they basically seize Abidan, which is the big
but we don't really learn about this.
No, it's crazy. It's not taught at all. And we seize Abidan because at this point the Anglo-Iranian BP is making Britain so much money, and then during the war that Britain is making more off the taxes of the profits than Iran is getting at all from their own oil. Right. So at this point, Abidan is powering the British Navy. And so they basically, the whole war effort is southwest Iran. So the Anglo-Soviets, they seize it. They force Big Boss Man to go on holiday. They say, take a break, mate. You're done. And they install his little twink son, Mohammed Reza Shah, who is a submissive bottom.
Well, okay. What is it? What's the Rogan thing? What is it? Hard times create soft men. Soft, what's it? What is it?
I always forget
hard
this.
times create soft men. Soft men create soft times. Soft times create hard.
Big
men.
hard cocks.
Right. Well, this is the example of that, right? You got a hard, grizzled military officer who's clawed his way to power. And then he raises a twink son who he sends off to a rich Swiss boarding school to eat little chocolate.
We should talk about Mohammed Reza Shah. So Mohammed Reza Shah, which is quite confusing because his dad's called Reza Shah. It's like, imagine if that's how your name is, you just give him another name. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times. I mean, that is the history of Iran. And all the time the women are covered up. So ugly women create bad times. Bad times make fit women. Fit women, I don't know what the end of those. Fit women create hard cocks. Ugly women create soft cocks. Anyway, so the Allies with the Soviets, they basically just fucking bin off Boss Man. And we should talk about his son. Right?
Doesn't narrow it down when you say Boss Man.
Nah,
to you, everyone's Boss Man.
No, there's Boss Man and there's Boss Man's son.
Right.
And then there's Dr. Grumpykins. There's the three people in the story. Boss Man's son, Dr. Grumpykins. Yes, please, my friend. Yes, please, my friend. No, thank you. That's the script for the Iranian Revolution. Mohammed Reza Shah, yes. Now, Reza Shah, the great westernizer, he has sent his son to, as you say, Swiss boarding school. And so Mohammed Reza Shah is fluent in 3 languages. He's he's being used to eating like the hotest of haute cuisine. Michelin food. Charlie, can you get the footage of Mohammed Reza Shah when he's first comes into power? He looks so fucking terrified because he's maybe 20, if that, or maybe 18. And he's basically just overnight is just brought back. I'm like, right, start shaking hands. You're in charge now. If your dad is a huge, broad-chested power top, you are going to be a submissive bottom.
Wait, when did his dad die? His dad's been
His
deposed.
dad's exiled. So his dad's forced on holiday. Right. And he's, this very feminine face. It's kind of androgynous. This kind of nervous smile. He's tiny as well. Compared to his dad, big, broad chest. I'm going to fuck me up the arse now. And he's like, oh, no, I don't want to be fucked. I'm going to fuck you anyway. That's Mohammed Reza Shah. So he comes to power in 1941.
Seemingly,
And then, blah, 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 the Allies win. Hitler shoots himself in the bunker. Everyone's having a good time. And now, obviously, the Soviets are becoming the enemies of the West. And as you hinted at, Iran's always been the main stress fracture of British, American, and Russian interests.
It's a corridor. It's India, the Middle East, Russia.
It's just outside off Stump.
Yeah, exactly. It's a real danger zone.
We're having a swim. Yeah, so that picture there, that's him as a young, beautiful kind of. He looks a bit like if one of the Muppets was a drag queen.
Yeah,
and there also is someone in the story called Kermit as well, actually.
So.
Yeah, checks out.
The coincidences of history just never.
So, but anyway, Iran is basically that corridor of uncertainty, where the Russia are just sending these balls down, and Britain just don't know whether to play or leave. It's just hammering that. It's Jimmy Anderson hammering that line outside off. Yeah. You're never quite sure. Britain, the worst of Britain, Rory Burns, is just, I'll have a go at that. First of all, the Ashes, you fucked it. You've absolutely fucked it, Rory Burns. The first Ashes on Australian soil, where we've maybe had a chance, you've completely fucked it.
But that's what
first ball of the series against Mitchell Starc. We're dead.
And that's why a lot of Western powers, they end up embarrassing themselves in Iran because it's the danger, the corridor of danger.
You don't know whether to play or not,
and you go for it.
You go for it. First ball of the series. Anyway, the Soviets. Then there's something about the Soviets starting to take control of the north of Iran's resources. They found more oil. So anyway, so Iran is kind of split into these two spheres of influence.
And then in 49, there's the rise of Mohammad Mossadegh, prominent nationalist leader. He becomes the prime minister of Iran.
And this is a guy who's born in 1882. So he's an old guy. He looks a bit like Uncle Fester, like he's quite tall, quite austere, but he's got a big kind of toothy smile. Mohammad Mossadegh.
God, yeah. He looks like Nosferatu.
Yeah, he's a bit, but then he's smiling a lot. He's quite, I think he's quite a fun guy, actually. Yeah. And he's almost seen, I think, amongst a lot of Iranian expats as a sort of the, what if?
Yeah.
This is a great what if moment.
But he's on a nationalist thing of like carving out a new national identity and kind of Iran taking control of their own destiny.
Because
basically.
the young Shah, Mohammad Reza Shah, is a young, twinkie, insecure, Swiss trained. Yeah. Basically, he's only having soup. He's drinking soup. He's not eating meat. He's not got a strong stomach. Yeah. Right.
He's definitely gluten intolerant.
At this point, he's fucking gluten intolerant. Yeah. The young Shah. Oh, I couldn't have that bread. Whereas his dad's fucking... Mama, no, I don't want this bread, Mama.
Yeah.
Whereas his dad's like, sort of, he's chowing down on whole loaves of fucking brown sourdough in one. So, but because he's got a weak Shah, Mossadegh, who's much older than him, he's kind of from an aristocratic family in Iran. He's quite patrician vibe, right? Yeah. He's like, he's basically the sort of the great white hope of actually liberalising Iran. Because
brown hope.
Sorry, the great brown hope. Brown men can jump. He's the great brown hope of... Because what Reza Shah had done is he had modernised Iran's infrastructure and economy without actually trying to give people any political human rights.
No.
And so there's this idea of the benevolent dictator that the young Shah will sort of take to its extremes. Yeah. So, but Mossadegh is like, no, we're gonna, you've voted me in, and he essentially
the big thing
is in 51 he goes, fuck this. I've had enough of you taking our liquid black stuff. Yeah. First of all, what is it? Why are all the cars going faster with it? Well, I'm still burning.
How does it work?
I'm still trying to put like wood in my car. I'm still trying to shove wood in my car. I want this black stuff. You keep taking it away. Do I drink it? What do I do with it? He essentially tries to nationalize BP.
Yeah, and it's a theme of post-World War II American foreign policy where you have leaders like this. Yeah. They have in Burkina Faso. They try and take back their resources and stop them being taken by the West.
Absolutely not.
And it's just an apps.
I'm an anti having control of your own resources. Yeah. This podcast is anti. The West should control everyone's resources.
And then it's orchestrating coups. This is just a classic move. Yeah. As soon as you're like, can I own my own resources?
No,
or you'll be dead.
You can't be trusted with your snacks. The snacks go in the tool cupboard. I'm handing the snacks to you because they are a reward system for good behaviour. The Iranians are toddlers, and America is their parent, essentially. Yeah. So 1951, Mossadegh tries to nationalise British oil, and the Brits are like
British and American.
British and American. Well, there's a new. The Brits and Americans have tried to. They've got a new. They're trying to work a new system.
Yeah.
I think at this point the Brits are still mainly in control of the oil, but obviously Britain's fading. It's bankrupt after the war, and then the idea that this guy is going to take the oil away from them, they're like, we absolutely can't have this. The sweets have to stay in the top cupboard. Yeah. You will go crazy if you eat all those sweets.
Yeah.
MI6, and it is MI6 led, by the way, and actually it's Foreign Office led. The Foreign Office, Churchill's Prime Minister again, the Foreign Office say, we need to fucking get rid of this guy.
And this is the first proper covert operation of CIA as well?
Because CIA's only been founded in 47.
Yeah, but this is like a co-pro production.
First co-production.
Yeah.
This is James Bond stuff.
But this is the transition from MI6 to CIA. This is right. MI6, the hallmark of a spy agency.
Yeah.
CIA, the burgeoning new one. This is the kind of watermark where MI6 on its way down, CIA on its way up meet for this.
After this, MI6 essentially just becomes James Bond.
Yeah.
It becomes fiction.
It becomes a film franchise.
Yeah. It's a tribute act to what it used to be. It's like it's fan fiction.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
because CIA is actually the thing,
Yeah.
and MI6 is like, well, we'll just write some books about this, will we? So the MI6 and the Foreign Office, they go, we cannot let the Iranians have all the sweets, so we're going to take control. Now, on the table is genuinely, do we sanction them? Do we just fucking invade? Mm-hmm. That is one of the decisions.
I mean,
Churchill makes.
It's kind of surprising that of all the countries that have been invaded in the Middle East, Iran has never got
no.
It's amazing they haven't been invaded by the West at any point.
The Brits and America, the siren call of just going in, that's always there, isn't it? Should we just fucking go in there?
Yeah.
Should we just go and knock the statue over and put an American flag over it, see what happens? But Churchill goes, can I have a drink? And they go, sorry, you need to make a decision here, Winston. And he goes, fuck off, I want a drink. Yeah. Anyway, they decide to do covert operation.
Yeah.
But the Brits, they need a co-pro, they don't have the money for this. Yeah. So they go to the CIA, and there's a man in Tehran who's genuinely called Kermit Roosevelt, who I think is a cousin of one of the... I don't really understand who the Roosevelts are. Yeah. And Kermit Roosevelt is fucking wasted all the time. Right. He's just drinking gin and lime. Yeah. He's battered. Yeah. And he's undercover in Tehran.
This is before spy agents became like woke and boring, and like this is when they were out there in suits getting pissed.
Yeah, this is the best.
Yeah, this is the best time to be a spy agent.
Now you're just a dweeb in a basement fucking coding.
Yeah.
These were men.
Yeah.
There's none of this like, should we get Idris Elba out there? No. Kermit Roosevelt. He's playing tennis in a compound in Tehran, and when he hits the net, he goes, for fuck's sake, Roosevelt. But he's undercover as John someone, and they're like, who's that? And he's like, oh no, I just like the president. Yeah. I'm blaming that on the president. He's awful. He's pissed.
So he's got a cover, but he's so pissed he keeps dropping it.
He keeps calling himself, not now, Kermit. And he's like, who's that? And you go, fuck it, I'm talking about the Muppets. Sorry, I mean the frog. Sorry. So the CIA are on the ground in Tehran, but it's all the British networks. Yep. British have got, what's it called?
But it's American money.
It's American money.
It's like film production now.
Yeah,
it'll be like a British book written in, it'll be like Lord of the Rings. It's like, who's going to fund it?
We film it in Britain because we give tax bonuses. So
but it's all going to be American. It all leads back to American money. Yeah.
So they try and instigate boots on the ground. The Brits call it Operation Boot. Yeah. The Americans call it Operation Ajax. Total football.
Ajax is the football team.
Total football. Yeah. Basically, the agreement is that the Shah, and this is technically legal, Mohammad Reza Shah will write a decree saying Mossadegh's got to fuck off, and he's going to install a strongman from the military. So Mossadegh, meanwhile, has nationalised the oil company, but the Iranians don't know what to fucking do with it because they don't know how to work it. They're like, what is this stuff? I'm still putting wood in I'm filling up my car with wood. I don't know what's going on. So Kermit agrees with the Shah that he's gonna sign the decree. Now, one thing you need to know about Mohammad Reza Shah, this cunt loves going on holiday.
He loves it.
I think he mainly just wants to be on holiday. Yeah. So Kermit goes, right, we're going to sign this decree, and then the Shah's like, can I sign this, then can I go on holiday? I quite want to go to Rome, see the sights. And they're like, okay, yeah, fine, but sign it first. It's the weekend, and he still hasn't signed it. He goes, I've got to go on holiday. I'm too bored. I really need a break. I need a break from all this. Yeah. So he goes to Rome, and then Kermit's like, come Monday, right, turn on the radio, a coup should have happened. And he turns it on and he hears Mossadegh and he goes, why the fuck's this guy? And Mossadegh's got wind and he goes, well, the Shah tried to get rid of me by foreign influence. And Kermit's like, fucking hell, where's he gone? And Shah's like, sorry, I had to just, it was cheaper.
He's chatting shit on Facebook Live.
It was cheaper flights on Sunday. So
There's snakes on my profile. I know you've been talking shit about me.
Yeah. So the Shah's in Rome and Mossadegh basically, somehow the CIA, they get the Shah to sign the thing.
They pay off a military man as well. I feel there's some corruption that they take advantage of as well.
And they start paying people to go out and chant against him.
Yeah, and they take over the press and they start just spreading lies about Mossadegh, basically.
Yeah, they start saying he's a nonce.
It's kind of, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what they do. Anyway, but interestingly, the clerics, the Grumpykins, they start...
Who's still a very powerful faction in Iran.
Yeah, they... of their own accord, I think, turn against Mossadegh because there is this kind of contested idea, like historians are sort of arguing about whether this coup is genuinely a foreign coup or it's like it couldn't have been done without a certain amount of Iranian proactivity on agency on their part. Yeah. So,
but this is a theme throughout, which is like, well, I don't like one thing about them. Let's get rid of them, and my ideas will come through. Then they do it, and then it's even worse.
It's chaos. Yeah, it's completely chaos. So they get rid of Mossadegh eventually, and what they do is the CIA and the Brits is they install Mohammad Reza Shah. They get him back from Rome. He goes, that was a lovely city break. I can't wait to go on holiday again. And they go, mate, you're a king now. Can you just fucking do some work first?
Yeah, definitely. It's just, he goes, I'd love to go hiking in the Pyrenees.
I've just seen there's a deal on, actually, I've always wanted to go Copenhagen. Have you heard about Noma? It sounds great. They're closing down. I really want to get a ticket. And they go, for fuck's sake, you're king now. Can you actually do something? And so they will then, over the course of the next 20, 30 years, they will pay him essentially, I think it's $1 billion to build infrastructure, fund his army, to keep him in power. They get a puppet,
he's a Western
strongman in. And this is like the thing, this is still a massive deal in Iran.
Yeah.
This is why they call Great Britain Little Satan and America Great Satan. Do you know that?
Yes. And a theme as well from all the podcasts I listened to about this, still in Iran, anywhere else in the world, Iran more than anywhere else overrates British standing in the world.
They think that this is all Britain.
They don't really realise how we become a regional power. Yeah. They still think that we're these masterminds behind it all. Yeah. They think we're evil, but they also think we're powerful as fuck.
We've got nothing going on. We got fuck all. We were maybe powerful until Kinga from Big Brother shoved that bottle up her fanny, and then we've completely. That's the end of it. We're completely done. That was front page news.
Yeah,
fat woman shoves bottle up fanny. Right, we're done. We're completely. This country's gone to the dogs. We're fucked. And they're still saying we're still saying we're powerful.
Oh, they haven't seen that episode of Big Brother.
No, they don't know Jade Goody died. Britain's Queen, England's Rose. Yes, evil Jade Goody. Right, so we should probably call that for episode 1. But essentially, we're leaving Iran in a state of foreign influence. They have removed a democratically elected leader and put in a young Twinkie, submissive bottom. And we're going to leave the story there. Now, the next episode, and I'm going to say an episode after that, the next 2 episodes are already on the Patreon. If you can't wait until Thursday and later on in the week. So for £3 a month, you can become a truther, and you will get access to every episode of a series first thing on a Monday morning. But either way, thank you so much for watching and listening, and we will see you to carry on the story next time.